Day, everybody, and welcome back to Weekend Edition and Rehash, where we recap some of the stories, big stories of the week, and certainly it was another big week. It always seems to be on Guam. As you notice, Crystal's not in today, but she covered a lot of big stories this week, including the home invasion that occurred last weekend regarding two people who. One was carrying an assault rifle, another was carrying a handgun, and they broke into this home in Mong Mong, and they assaulted a man and a woman. So if you have any information about that case, please call Guam Crime Stoppers. Their number is 477-4357. There was also a house fire in Barrigada in which two dogs were rescued by the Guam Fire Department. That was such a heartwarming story, right?
The picture was so cute.
Yeah, and so good job, GFD. What are some of the stories that you worked on, Issa?
Well, one of my big stories this week was talking about a family that actually brought an issue to the Guam Education Board. They had concerns because they had registered their son out of district at CL Title Elementary. He actually had some special needs issues. He had a severe case of ADHD and speech development problems, so they thought it would be the best school for him. But, you know, they had kind of an argument with some of the school administrators there, and what happened was they were kind of, the school administrators recommended they withdraw their child and go to a different school. So, you know, they fought the issue, or they filed a complaint with the Department of Education, which Superintendent John Fernandez said it was investigated and addressed, but they still testified against, or testified in front of the board yesterday, asking that the board review the out-of-district policy. Board Chair Peter Alexis Addis said he will look into the issue. As for the University of Guam, they actually had a forum on safety yesterday. I don't know if you guys recall, there was a lot of controversy or a lot of media reports of safety issues there with two women that were accosted. There was the one professor who was accused of making unwanted sexual advances. So, you know, throughout the panel, students were able to ask questions, but one big thing that became apparent was that, the University of Guam really needs to step up the way it addresses its security. They try with what they have, but they definitely have some funding shortages, so they're going to look into ways to increase security.
Okay, Ken.
Well, I did a story this week with the Guam Memorial Hospital when they went before lawmakers for like a status hearing, and a lot of the questions pertain to whether the new Guam Regional Medical City, which about last month opened its new emergency room, whether that had any impact on GMH. New Administrator Ted Lewis says that it actually hasn't, because they're actually still jammed and they actually reach 100% capacity several times in the ER. He further noted though that even though GMH is packed along with the new hospital being open, a naval hospital, they still don't have enough beds for the island. I guess Guam needs about like 400 beds total based on our population, and we're still kind of short on that. So even with the new hospital, all the hospital facilities should still be experiencing some problems in terms of seeing patients. But speaking about the hospital, I spoke with Ted Lewis again regarding tax refunds, and he was saying that even though $50 million went out this week, about like 3 million should be going to GMH from that batch, but that's just so little compared to the total amount. I think in this fiscal year they received about 7.5 million, but that only counts for a little bit as well, because they actually have a listing of about $116 million in offsets that is owed to the hospital. So wow. We'll see how they ever get that money back.
Wow. Okay, some good news. Joan?
I know, like with happy news. Well, on this past episode of In the Mix, we covered the second annual Wine Fest, which is held at the Hyatt Regency Guam. They bring in over 150 wines for those that are either wine aficionados or those wanting to dabble and maybe try out some of the wines. They also brought in a wine ambassador, Jeff Cook, who's been here several times to answer some of the questions that people may have, like what foods pair well with either white or red wines. Another thing too was KUAM Connections. This was a week of fall premieres, a lot of new shows hitting NBC and CBS, and they opened to big ratings. Blind Spot was
Heroes
big.
Reborn.
Heroes Reborn, and of course the 9th season of The Voice. Mm-hmm. So it looks to be a really good the week of new shows, and season premieres continues next week. So
yes, and of course the big show happened this past week too, the Miss World Guam pageant.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Great girls, great production.
Right. Yeah. That's right. Well, if you have any tips, story ideas, pictures, videos you'd like to share with us and cover, you can always message us on Facebook. Also, you can email us at reporters@kuam.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you after the break.